Hey everybody, today we're going to be going over my top 10 favorite cubing competitions. So these aren't really going to be in any particular order, so I'll just put them in the order I think it is. However, the number one competition on this list, I have to say, was my favorite competition I ever went to, so we'll just get right into it. So going to SkillCon, the competition was very nice, and it was very nice to see Las Vegas at Christmas and all that. However, I have gone to SkillCon 3 times, but the reason I chose SkillCon 2018 was just because I thought this one was the best one I had gone to, and it also was part of another longer trip that we took afterwards, so that's why I thought that I should put this one on the list. So German Big Cube 2017 was also a great competition. It had multiple rounds of big cubes, which I really liked, and it also gave us an excuse to go to Germany when we went to Worlds in 2017. And in addition to just going to Germany, we also stopped in Brussels, Belgium on the way to London for that competition, and we wouldn't have gone to Brussels if I didn't go to this competition, so that's one of the reasons why I had to put it on this list. So London 2017, it gave me an excuse to go to London, England, which was a place I had always wanted to go to for a long time, but we just never got around to going there until just then for that competition. And it was a pretty good competition, and my results were mostly good. I probably would have put it a little bit higher on the competition as I did not make 3x3 finals by one spot, which was pretty unfortunate, but it was a very fun experience going to London and such, so that's why I put it on this list. So Berlin Summer Cube Days 2016. So this competition gave me and my dad an excuse to go to Berlin, Germany, which was overall a very fun experience, and that was one of the highlights of my trip to Europe in 2016. And I just had to put it on this list because it was just a fun city to go to, and the competition was also pretty nice. US National 2014. Oh man, where do I even begin with this one? This one I just had to put on this list for a number of reasons, so I'll just get into it. One of the biggest reasons was because that trip to New York for the competition was just so fun. You know, it's just very hard to describe the fun that me and my mom had in the city and visiting our extended family that live in the city. And there were just a lot of fun experiences with that would take too long to go over in this video, but hopefully that gives you the general idea. And also, it was my very first major competition where I had to travel a long way to. Like, I did have Worlds 2013 in Las Vegas, but that wasn't very far to go. So this was my first like major competition where I actually had to really commit to going and such. And my results I thought were really nice. It was the first time making second round at a big competition for 3x3 and 5x5, and my 5x5 average was the very first average I had gotten that put my ranking top 1000 in the world, which I was pretty proud of. So overall this competition was just really fun, and it just had a very lasting memory that I've had ever since. And it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but because of the experience and the memories I created from this, I just had to put this on the list somewhere. So this was one of the competitions that got me thinking about this video actually. So yes, definitely one of my favorite competitions, and that just shows you how many more are coming in this video. US National 2015 was also a very fun competition, just like 2014. This one had different reasons for being very fun, but it's definitely worth it to be on this video. So, first off, the trip we took to go to Nationals was actually much more than just Nationals itself. We had a major family reunion in Colorado just a week prior, which was like one of the funnest experiences I've ever had in my whole life. And then we went to Nationals, and my results there, the really big highlight was my 6.32 official 3x3 solve, because that was one of the biggest surprises I'd ever gotten in cubing, as at the time that was my second fast ever, and it was, I believe, 22nd in the world at the time, which was just a crazy jump from like couple hundred to 22nd in the world. And it just had a very lasting memory afterwards and just made me it was like the first time I had really gotten like a world class ranking in an event. So, and then after that, a week later, we spent some more time in South Carolina at my uncle's vacation house in Charleston. And overall, it was just a very fun experience from this competition. And then I got to go to Atlanta Open a week later, which was also a very fun competition, visiting family, touring Atlanta, and all that. So this competition definitely had to be put on this list. Canadian Championship 2019. So this was my very first time actually visiting Canada in my whole life. I'd flown over Canada en route to Europe before, but I don't count that as visiting Canada. It was a very cool place to visit. The competition was really nice. I had some pretty good results, like my 52-second 5x5 average and a few others. I also got my first sub 1 2x2 single that I'd been going for like 2 years. And then after the competition, me and my dad got to go to Toronto, and Toronto was a great city to visit, and I just wish we had more time there. But overall, a really fun competition, and I'm definitely glad I got to go to this one. US Nationals 2019. This was an adventure, this trip that we took. We took a 2-week trip to the East Coast, and we got to tour a lot of cool cities in addition to going to Baltimore for the competition. And as I just mentioned, I went to Canadian Championships, so that competition probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gone to Nationals. And I thought my results were mostly pretty good. I made 3 finals there, and I just thought that it was a fun competition in general, and the places we got to go as a result of it, so definitely had to put it on this list for that. Worlds 2019 was also quite an adventure. It was my very first time going to Australia, and it was actually my very first time going to a continent that was not North America or Europe, so it was definitely a fun experience. It was a bit different, and it was a really cool country to go visit. I wish we had more time in some other places that we got to visit there, and also the competition was pretty nice and such, so definitely had to be put on this list because I would never have gone to Australia had it not been for this competition, so very glad I got to go. Now, before I reveal what my number 1 favorite competition of all time was, here are a few honorable mentions that I felt like I just had to put on the list. So I thought I'd mention US Nationals 2018 on this list because I thought my results were really good, and it was a fun experience going to this competition. However, it wasn't in a top tourist destination city, so there wasn't a whole lot of experiencing outside of the competition that I got out of it. But overall, it was a fun competition, and like I said, my results were very nice, so I thought that this was worthy of being on the list somewhere. Western Champs 2018 was also a very fun competition, and I actually podiumed in 3x3 in that one, which I wasn't really expecting, and I got my current PB average in 3x3, and those were some of the highlights of this competition, and also just the experience from getting to go to this, like spending a little time in San Francisco and stuff like that, just made it a very fun experience, and that's why I had to put it on this list. So Western Champs 2019 was a very fun competition because I liked going down to LA with my mom and spending some time there, and the competition was also just very nice, so that's why I felt like I had to mention it in this video. Finally, the number 1 competition that I have to say is my absolute favorite competition I ever went to has to be Worlds 2017. This trip that we took because of this one competition was an absolute blast. We got to go to 5 different European countries, and 2 of the competitions I already mentioned on this list would not have happened if I hadn't gone for Worlds that year. And overall, all the places me and my mom got to go to was just the best time ever. It was probably one of my favorite trips I'd ever taken, even if it was not for cubing. So a lot of non-cubing related reasons that made this one of my best competitions, and I thought my results were pretty good, and also at the other competitions. So this competition, I do have to say, is my absolute favorite competition I'd ever gone to, and honestly one of the best experiences of my life. So those were all my favorite competitions I ever went to. So what were your favorite competitions you ever went to? Please let me know in the comments below. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.